Do you ever get annoyed that your team just won't take more ownership? That sometimes they don't kind of step up and fix problems or find solutions, and that they're a bit reliant on you to kind of step in and help them out. In this video, I want to share a framework called the point of choice. I want to share a framework that you can use with your team to help them take more ownership and take more responsibility. It's a framework. I'm literally going to present it to you in the way that you can talk to your team about it. So kind of almost use this as a script guide. And what you're going to leave with is a framework that you can talk with your team. But more than that, it gives you a shorthand that you can almost, when someone isn't stepping up or isn't taking proper ownership, or you want them to kind of just be a bit more self-sufficient, it gives you a shorthand to talk to them about that in a way that's actually quite funny and quite light-hearted rather than being a bit serious. I'll show you how to do that. So hi, I'm Dan Crompton. I'm the author of Let Them Lead, Manage Less, Empower More. And I'm sharing this stuff because work has changed more in the last 5 years than it has in the previous 30, and yet managers haven't had the chance to catch up. So look, for the rest of this video, I'm kind of going to go into, I guess, sort of presentation mode so that you can see exactly how you can talk to your own team about this principle that we're going to talk about. So let's dive on in. So at any point, I'm in presentation mode already, by the way. At any point, we have a choice in how we react. And it doesn't always feel like that. You know, when there's stuff going on, like, you know, clients should have sent us some information they haven't, or they changed their mind about something, or there's delays in a project because someone didn't get in touch or didn't communicate properly. When all those things are going on, it doesn't feel like we have a choice in that situation. And the thing is, we can't change some of that stuff. We can't change what other people are going through, but we can change how we react to it. And we do actually have a choice in how we react to it. Now, a story that illustrates this, and this is a story you should use with your teams. A story that I use to illustrate this is, if you imagine a parent, right, and they're at home, and they are with their kid who's done something naughty, done something wrong, and they are over here, and they are actually angry at that child, right? You know, genuine, strong emotion. You shouldn't have done that. Very, very naughty. And then the phone rings. And it's an old friend that they haven't spoken to in God knows how long. They pick up the phone and they can go straight from genuine anger to, oh my God, like to genuine joy, right? Extreme emotions. Oh my God, so lovely to hear from you, etc., etc. When that phone call is done, they can put the phone down and then they can go straight back to, yeah, and anyway, I told you, they can go straight back to anger, right? So even in genuine human extreme emotions, we can switch them in a moment. So even when it doesn't feel like it, we have a choice in how we react. And so this brings me to this idea of the point, the point of choice, right? At any moment in time, you have a choice in how you react to the stuff that's going on. And some of those reactions help us and move us forward, and some of those actions don't help us. They hinder us and they keep us stuck and all that kind of stuff. So the reactions that might hinder us and hold us back, what I can kind of call kind of below the line reactions, what do you think they might be? And look, when you're talking to your team about this, ask them, what do you think, what kinds of reactions to all the stuff that goes wrong, you know, client problems and project issues, to all that stuff, what kind of reactions aren't going to help us? What kind of reactions aren't going to help us move forward? What kind of reactions are going to keep us stuck? So literally ask that to your team. Have a think about it for yourself right now. What kinds of reactions do you think don't help us? Because whatever you come up with now, whatever your team comes up with, none of it's going to be wrong. It's all going to be around kind of negative attitudes or, you know, pointing fingers, all this kind of stuff. The reactions that I use when I'm talking about the point of choice, the reactions that are below the line, the ones that do not help us move forwards, I call it BED. Whatever you come up with just now, whatever your teams come up with is all right, is all correct. The ones that I use to remember this are BED. The way I remember it is that you make your bed and then you have to lie in it, right? And so BED, what do you think that stands for? What kinds of reactions are not going to help us move forward when stuff just inevitably goes wrong or stuff's difficult for whatever reason? I'm going to ask you, what do you think? Likewise, ask your team, what do they think BED might stand for? At the bottom, we've got denial. And that means thinking, oh, it'll be fine. I don't have to do anything different. I had this with a couple of clients during COVID. You know, when the lockdowns first started, they were like, "Oh, we don't need to change. Well, it'll be fine. We don't need to change how we market to our clients. We don't need to change how we manage our team. We don't need to change our internal processes. It'll be fine." Right. So the first one is denial. It's a reaction to what's going on that isn't really serving you. E stands for excuses. And linked to that, B stands for blame, right? Blame and excuses are about pointing the finger, right? So blame is kind of pointing the finger at other people. Excuses is pointing the finger at other things. It might be, oh, you know, that client should have sent me that email, or they gave me the wrong information, or they've changed their mind, or excuses, I didn't have enough time. I was far too busy. I was working on other things, or whatever it might be. All of this stuff is true. All of this stuff you think is true. We do this every day. Every human thinks below the line every single day. It's just human nature to, when stuff goes wrong, to kind of think, okay, what could it be a possible reason for this going wrong that probably isn't my fault, right? So we do below the line thinking every single day. It's just human nature. So there's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't help us move forward. It doesn't change the situation. So if that's below the line thinking, pointing outside of yourself, pointing to any other reasons why things didn't happen, reasons why things are difficult, just sitting in that kind of blame, sitting in those reasons why. If that's the case, what might be the alternative? What might be, when you've got at that point of choice, what might be a different way of reacting that's actually going to help us rather than hinder us? And again, I'll ask you now to think about what the opposite kind of reactions might be. Ask, when you're presenting this to your team, ask them what they think the opposites of blame, excuses, and denial might be. So what do you think? What do you think it is? The acronym I've got, again, anything you come up with right now, anything your team comes up with, there's going to be no wrong answers. They are all correct. The ones that I use, so it's easy to remember, OAR, or there's some sort of, you know, navigation analogy to be drawn there in terms of taking control, right? So again, what do you think O, A, or R might stand for? Ask your team what they think they might stand for. R is kind of possibly the most important transition from being below this line to above it. R stands for responsibility. R stands for responsibility. Responsibility. And what that means is that you choose to take responsibility, not for the situation, but for your reaction to the situation. If you think about the word responsibility, response-ability, right? It's acknowledging that I have the ability to choose my response. Such an important principle. You have the ability to choose your response, and rather than having a response that's below the line, that's not going to help you, not going to push you forward, it's not going to change anything, you choose instead to have a different response. O and A stands for accountability, and that's kind of saying, right, I have the responsibility here. I am able to choose a response, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to doing something. Ultimately, the O is ownership. And so what above the line thinking really is about is saying, yeah, look, there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's all sorts of stuff that's difficult. You know, if stuff goes wrong, clients don't tell us what they need to, people within teams miscommunicate, whatever it might be. There might even be external things, you know, the economy's bad, you know, our industry is changing, or the company culture is crap, or whatever it might be. All of these things are either true or feel true. You know, no one's lying, really, probably not. No one's lying when they're making these excuses. We do it every day. And so it's just saying, yeah, all of that stuff is real. And we have a choice now to say, great, are we going to kind of sit in that reality and point fingers to all these things we can't control and kind of just say, well, there we go, that's our reality. That's the reasons why stuff didn't happen. It's the reasons why we're not achieving what we could achieve. Or do we want to play a bit of a game? Do we want to, because it's annoying, right? When you haven't got enough time and whatever, it's annoying for someone to say, well, what else could you do? So this is where you can make a bit of a joke about it. When you've trained your team on this, catch them, say, oh, that's a bit below the line thinking. What would you do? What could you do to turn that above the line? And so the more you kind of make a joke of it, you've just got this shorthand for all of this that I've gone through in this video. You've got a shorthand for it, and you can make a little bit of a joke about it with your team. Catch them out, or they can catch you out. You know, be honest about it. Yeah, sorry, that's below the line thinking. What could we do? Yeah, the client didn't send us that stuff. So what do we need to do? What could we change? We can't change the client. What can we change about ourselves or our communication patterns or whatever else it might be? Setting expectations with the client, whatever else it might be. The economy's bad. Cool, we can't do anything about that. So let's brainstorm, what do we need to change? What do we need to change about who we're marketing to, or our pricing, or our positioning, or who we're going after, or our entire business model, whatever it is. But what do we need to do in this situation? You know, in every bad economy, some of your competitors fail and some of your competitors do really well. So even in those situations, there are some opportunities. So it's all about having the shorthand, teaching your team in the way that I've just taught you. And then you've got the shorthand where you can kind of make a joke. Hey, that's below the line thinking. How could we turn that to above the line thinking? So look, here's the principle. You've got, at any point in time, you have got a choice in how you react to the stuff that's going on around you. It doesn't always feel like it, but we do have a choice in how we react. Some of those reactions do not help us. They let us sit and wallow in the reasons why not, versus let me brainstorm one thing we could do to make this even better. So look, good luck with that. By all means, use this video with your team, but even better if you can watch it a couple of times and just educate your team on the difference between below the line thinking and above the line thinking. And then you've got that language as shorthand to catch each other out in a light-hearted way and make sure that at any time you're thinking with much more ownership, much more responsibility. Your team is stepping up to fix more problems. They're not coming to you for every decision. They're not just pointing fingers and complaining. They're finding ways forward. Good luck. This is such a powerful tool. I hope it works for you. Let me know how you get on.